Hello and happy 2021, everybody. Welcome back to the Two Gargoyles podcast. I am your host, Michael McAdam, and with me are Mike Rieger and man who definitely looks like the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, Kyle Burrows. For those of you listening at home, Kyle just got a haircut but let his beard grow out. He looks so much like the Mandarin. Show him the rings, Kyle. He's even got the rings. He's got the 10 rings on. He is committed to the bit.
Technically only 5. I only got like...
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the 5 rings.
Yeah. It's your discount ring call.
And I actually got to take them off because they're actually kind of irritating now.
Oh, okay.
I haven't worn these rings in like 10 years.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, geez,
there we are. Well, what a year that was. We had so many plans for 2020, so many new comics coming out, like a whole new convention table set up, like new stuff. And then no conventions, no social outlet, no hanging out, no nothing. On the plus side, man, did a lot of creativity get done because we had lots of time. Some of us were furloughed from work, and so we got to stay at home. Some of us worked from home, which gave us more time to create. As my father told me, never waste a good pandemic, and we certainly didn't. We actually used that time to make some stuff. So we're going to dive right in. One of the things, and I think this is a mistake that I've learned from, is I was not going to publish my books until seeing a convention, I'll publish the book when I can put it in someone's hands. But in this day and age, that's not necessary. And it just hadn't occurred to me until now that you should keep publishing and you should keep putting your books out. You can just put them out digitally, on Comixology, Indie Planet, and whatnot. People can still access your books, even if you can't physically see the person to put it in their hand or go to a convention. And that's a really, really good thing to keep in mind if you're a creator. Just because you don't have an outlet that's ready-made, don't stop creating. There are other outlets to find.
Don't stop creating.
Did you just equate those two things in your head? Get comic printed for show, and then that was what you were used to?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think many of us were used to a routine. And when that routine was disrupted, it was like, oh, well, I guess we just can't do that. And that's certainly what I was thinking. And then suddenly it's like, wait a minute. You have the internet. You can publish digitally. There's no reason for you to stop. But of course, I didn't get that until close to the end of the year. And so I did a Kickstarter in November for Spectrum #2, which was wildly successful, hit both our stretch goals, and Spectrum #2 is out now. So let me just call that up. Share screen. There we go. And here's the part where you get to sort of wait while I fool around because I'm not sure exactly which one. There we go.
Push all the buttons.
I'll push every button there is. So there we go. There's the cover to Spectrum #2. And that came out in November and was sent out in December. For details on how to get it, you can go to twogargs.com/spectrum. Spectrum is the story of an LGBT youth named Richie who gets superpowers just as he's getting ready to come out and is introduced to a whole super team of teenagers who are, like him, LGBT in various, I guess you'd say various areas of the spectrum. Various flavors. Let's not talk about our teenage superheroes in terms of flavors. Let's not do that. But so I got good feedback on that.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a joke. Wait, no.
Yeah, so I got good feedback on that. And also, Mike has put out not one, but 2 comics, which are spin-offs of Twilight Detective Agency from Two Gargs. And Mike's holding that up there. I will actually call up that title as well. in my little application
I had the
window.
same problem with comics not being real unless you took them to a show. I
Yeah.
don't have a print copy of the second one. It's so not an actual tangible thing in my mind, but
Right.
doesn't mean I stopped.
No, and that's
it's
good.
weird,
I'm
like-
glad you didn't stop.
You're just sort of putting them out there into the void, and like nothing really happens. Not in any sort of face-to-face way.
Well, it's almost like nothing you create is real unless you get feedback.
Yeah.
You know, like getting likes on your Twitter and everything, that's fine. But actually getting a comment, that's gold. That's like, oh, somebody actually read it and said something. Holy mackerel, losing my mind.
We're so lonely. Please interact with us.
Please, God, please do it.
We
Oh,
have
my
nothing
Lord.
left to live for.
So Twilight Detective Agency Girls Out is very unique at Two Gargs because it is the first Two Gargs comic that I, Michael McAdam, did not write. It's written by Mike Rieger.
Or
And it's-
draw, for that matter.
well, I've never drawn a Two Gargs comic. But one of the cool things about TDA Go, as we call it, is that Mike did everything. Scripting,
Except the
writing,
covers.
plotting. Oh, that's right. The covers are guest artists. This first one you're looking at is by Karine Charlebois, I think, of
Nope.
Quebec. No?
Nope. That one's Molly.
Oh, Molly. I'm sorry, Molly. Sorry, Karine. Screwing up your art styles. Yes, Molly Nemechek, also known as Jackface on Twitter. So, yeah. But other than that, yeah, Mike did the scripting, the plotting, the lettering, the coloring, the art, the everything. It's literally, except for the cover, a one-person comic, which is a huge endeavor, for anyone. It's one thing to work with other people and then pass on the jobs as you complete your section of it, but to be the one person that is responsible for all of it is a big deal. But Mike, because he's the only neurotypical person I've ever met that's in this industry, is able to actually
Sometimes
start.
it feels that way. It feels so bad.
Well, you're able to start a project and finish it in a very, I'll call it a very German fashion, because you have a work ethic that is start and continue until it's done. Whereas many of us are like, no, today's a good work day, and no, today's not a good work day, and I'm in the zone, I'm out of the zone, very sporadic. Which
It's a work compulsion in many ways.
Yes, and which is a great compulsion to have, right? Like I'm very, very excited. I will call up the second cover
Issue.
here. Yeah, second issue. There we go. Boop. And this
There it
one's
is.
by Karine.
That one's
There we go.
Karine's.
Yes, indeed. We have sad gargoyle leaving slightly angry gargoyle, while man looks on slightly amused by the whole production.
Such the drama.
So drama. Issue 2 and drama already.
Man watches.
He
I
approves,
like to watch.
giving it validity.
The tagline for Twilight Detective Agency Girls Out is mythical, fun, and on the run, which is great. I think is a great tagline because it talks about, the core of the comic, which is mythical creatures, gargoyles. It's fun because I don't believe Mike is capable of writing something without a little tongue-in-cheek, at least. Some comedy in there, and on the run because it's constant action and the idea of being pursued by evil forces. The two gargoyles in question, Veronica and Maeve, are being pursued by mages who want them dead. So, they're very motivated to keep running. And on the way, they're going to meet various supernatural beings, including other gargoyles. And it will tie into the Twilight Detective Agency main universe as well. So, Mike, you're on issue 3 already, yes?
I am. I'm just cresting page 17 as we speak.
I love that.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, Kyle?
No, I didn't say anything. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
It's just plotting insurrections down there. Too soon.
Too soon? Don't storm the Capitol, Kyle. Don't do it. You'll get on TV. But yeah, so Mike did these comics start to finish during, various lockdowns, furloughs, working at home, that kind of thing, and then had nowhere to show them, right? So here we are now in 2021 realizing wait a minute, we could have shown them all this time. There's this podcast, there's the internet, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's please read my comic. And you're putting up pages on your Patreon as well, Mike.
I am. Every other Sunday, a new page of page 3 goes up on Patreon.
Yes, indeed. And I have that Patreon right here. That's correct, isn't it?
That's the one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Patreon.com/Hawkstone. That's Mike's Patreon, where you can see all these amazing comics. And I'm going to bring this up several times during the podcast, but all the Two Gargoyles comics are available on Comixology. I've made a bit.ly URL here, so it's bit.ly/ all caps TWOGA_comics with an X. Tuga Comics. That's the URL to find all our work on Comixology.
And of course, they're all up on twogargs.com. There's links to Indie Planet and Comixology from there.
Yeah, you can just go to any comic you want. So if we go twogargs.com/TDAGO, you can get all the TDA Go information, plot synopses, character synopses, and where to buy the comic, the most important part, on twogargs.com. So please check that out. And that is what we've created so far. But to sort of rehash and restate what I stated at the beginning of 2020, we've got a lot of comics coming out this year. During 2020, I actually wrote in completion 4 comics, and they are coming out this year. One of the ones I am most excited about is The Magical Mr. Punch, which has been a spin-off of TDA. So TDA is kind of like all in the family. It has the most spin-offs of any Two Gargoyles comic. So here we are. Here's the cover for number 1. We have the Magical Mr. Punch, holding a smaller version of himself, while chaos, winged gorillas, magic, and evil wizards battle in the background. Mr. Punch is the story of a young man named Adrian Whittingham, who is a Brit attending a British boys' school, who discovers he has magical powers. And man, I got to tell you, it's very hard to write a British boy mage with making sure you do not reference Harry Potter in any way, shape, or form. Because there can be more than one British boy mage, but man,
not anymore. There's laws.
Oh, are there laws now? Dang it!
Yeah, they'll come for you.
I'll make him from Boston. Hi, I'm Mr. Punch. Well, you think you're better than me? Yeah.
What do you say? He was kind of like Archie, so you make him from Brooklyn.
That's right. He's
Punch.
Archie Bunker.
Punch also appears in the 3rd issue of TDA Go, where I make many Harry Potter jokes.
Yes, which is good because, you can't see a mage with an English accent and not. I'm sorry.
My characters can't.
Yeah, that's just the rules now. So that's not, it's in development. Like issue 1 is finishing being colored even as we speak. And I'll be doing a Kickstarter for that a little later on this year. But of course, keep watching twogargs.com for any updates on that. So that's done. We've also got something coming up. Jeremy Thew has been working on Diaper Man Meets Milk, which is an absolutely marvelously...
That's a comic that's coming out. I don't know how you're going to explain this one to people at shows.
I don't think I'll have to explain it. I think the cover is fairly self-explanatory.
Did you ever see Benny Hill? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, we have Diaper Man and Sleepers behind Miss Milk in her very first appearance. And you might say this is a bustin' out cover because, man, is she bustin' out. I hereby apologize to all women everywhere, but this is a major, send up. It's a parody of how women are treated in comics, and everything in Diaper Man is a parody. It's all supposed to be ridiculous, so hopefully take that with a grain of salt. And
I cannot wait to see you at a convention explaining this book to someone's dad.
Do you honestly think I'll need to explain it to a dad? They'll probably be like, "Gimme, grabby hands." They'll be
Is
like,
this
"I want
the
this."
human spirit?
It does not ennoble the human spirit.
Oh, well, absolutely ennoble the human spirit.
It'll ennoble it.
That happened to us at a convention. Some person wandered up to our table and began to critique everybody's art and saying things like, this doesn't ennoble the human spirit. Which we were just like, oh, please go back to art school and stop speaking. Like, it was just like, why are you here? Oh, we have a comment.
Yeah, Sherry's excited for Punch to come out. That's coming.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Probably issue 2. Oh, the book to come out. Oh,
yeah,
I went somewhere else.
That's right.
That's not
Every
what you
British male has to be slightly gay, apparently.
Slightly.
Oh my goodness. And it's funny how often these days that kind of thing comes up in books, because in comics fandom, people are now much more interested in, sexuality, in people's orientation. Ever since Iceman came out, ever since
North Star.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
back in the 80s, yeah. And I mean, there were always hints beforehand, but I mean, now it's a blatant part of people's characters, and there are arguments against that, and there are arguments for that. But I've always liked to see well-rounded characters that have depth, and they can be straight, gay, bi, trans, whatever. It's all part of their character, and it fascinates me as a reader, because it means it's not just a 4-color character on a page; it's a person. I'm reading a person. And I find that interesting. Mike, your gargoyles, especially, I mean, yes, they're fictional creatures, but that doesn't mean they have to be two-dimensional. And in your book, especially what I've seen in issues 1, 2, and 3, there are real motivations and real emotions, and there's frustrations, and there's emotional difficulties. These are deep people. They just happen to have wings and horns.
That's what I'm trying for.
Yeah, and I think you're succeeding, and I can't wait for you all to be able to read those, because I think you will find them fascinating as well.
Oh, y'all. Me neither.
Did I say y'all? Oops.
Well, y'all.
You all, yes. Moving right along, what else have we got coming out? We got a lot coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
we've got a TDA Go 3 is being worked on. TDA Go 2 is being kickstarted next year, and 3 is in production.
Yeah, TDA Go 2 is actually going to be kickstarted in February, so very soon here, because it's ready to go. TDA number 3 is already being worked on, and it's so bizarre to come back to this comic after 10 years. I've learned my lesson to not wait until the artist I want is free, because sometimes they're just busy and they're not going to be free. So it's okay, I've had to tell myself this, to get a different artist. And the cover artist here is Bill Blankenship, but all the interiors are black and white and done by Miguel Puerta and inked by Mike Rieger. So we have some very, very interesting stuff coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. And issue 2 is ready to go. Just have to Kickstarter it and get it into your hot little hands. And of course, you can also find out more about that on twogargs.com/TDA. What happens in this second issue? I guess I should tell people. There's a mystery of a missing niece. The title is Niece to Meet You, because never waste a good pun, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it?
Is it
no?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to call it The Case Of, so I just thought Niece to Meet You is...
It is a little Hardy Boys, so,
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like,
I approve.
He said with a sigh, I approve of your crap. Boop. And then let's see here. What else do we have coming up? We have... Oh, yes. My big boy. Yes, number 3 is done, ready to go, and that also is going to be kickstarted a little later on in the year, probably around April. And of course, it's a 3rd issue of Volume 2 of Thunder, so it's the same story but refreshed art, with an eye towards gathering it all into a graphic novel. And in this issue, Thunder fights a frost giant. Which you can clearly see on the cover. So it's like Asgard is coming to Earth, and Thunder does not like it. So he has a sword, and he's going to use it. Stabby.
He does seem to be against it.
Yeah. He seems to be not as welcoming as your average Canadian.
He's attacking it like it's a Capitol building.
Too soon.
Too soon. Wow. Yes, at the time of this recording, it's January 9th, so it's only been 3 days since that brouhaha down in the States, which, of course, had us all kind of sitting on the edge of our seats going, wow. And to all our American friends that are listening to this, we hope you're safe and well. Oh, my goodness. So let me see here. You may have noticed that just below the image of the Two Gargs logo on this cover is a little round circle that says CCBA. And that is the Canadian Comic Book Alliance that Two Gargs joined and was invited to join last year. It's basically promoting Canadian comic books, and because we want to grow our industry. We want to support each other and support especially indie comics in Canada. So whenever you see this logo, just know that it's part of a group that really believes in Canadian comics and trying to make them better and reach more people. So yay, CCBA. You can check them out at theccba.com. Alrighty, let's see here. And those are the comics that I've got coming out this year. And I work with so many talented people, Mike and Kyle. Oh, and of course, I almost forgot because we don't have a cover for it.
Oh, right.
Yet.
Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle.
Hello.
Silent
Hi,
Kyle.
welcome to the show, Kyle. He's just sort of sitting there waiting to be noticed. I guess. I'm just,
You
Thanks
weren't
for
going to say
having
anything
me.
either, were you, Kyle? You were just going to let me not talk about it. Oh, God. You mustn't. You mustn't.
welcome.
Here we go. Here's the cover for Gloaming number 4. It's not ready
Actually,
yet.
sketch covers are rad, so you
Oh,
can
so I'm
actually do
sleeping
that.
at that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, people draw their own covers. Just outsource that.
The cover can be whatever you want it to be.
Make whatever comic you want. I don't know. Yeah.
No, Kyle just recently finished Gloaming number 4, which is exciting because it brings us to the end of the first story arc. So the first story is complete as of this issue. And we will be gathering the whole thing into a graphic novel sort of later on in the year. But first, issue 4 is going to come out. And Kyle has done just a spectacular job on that. Gloaming is, of course, the story of Doug Carter, who is a rock and roll journalist who has come to Gloaming looking for a very famous kid rock star that never existed, whose name is Tommy Jordan. And he gets embroiled into the creepiest, kidnapped children, voodoo, you name it, it's in there. There's werewolves. Oh my goodness. It's an absolute small town secret that has just been blown wide open. And the tagline for Gloaming is every town has secrets and one has too many, and that is Gloaming. Fortunately, we have a journalist who is going to uncover them for us. And going forward, we're hoping to adopt more of a, those 80s comics, the Witching Hour, anthology, serialized anthologies in some cases maybe. And it's Doug Carter checking out all the stories that are in Gloaming, so little 4 or 5 page vignettes of utter horror. And I hope that you'll stick around for that because Kyle and I are really looking forward to working on those.
On the cover at some point.
Yeah, that's right. At some point, the cover.
Polar bear gets lost in a snowstorm.
Oh, wow. That's like, actually, I should just put the word whiteout on it and just make it sound like it's like, oh no, it's snowing and Gloaming. What will we do? And
No, it has to
be
be,
horror story.
whiteout is copyrighted. It has to be correction fluid.
Oh, okay. Correction fluid. Or how about fluid correct? Never mind. Let's stop saying fluid.
Fluid.
No.
Yeah. I'd also like to shout out to Lisa, who says, dang, that cover art is incredible. So you see, Kyle, your minimalist cover has just really made everyone so incredibly inspired.
It's like I
But
can imagine
technically
the
she
cover
posted
that I
that-
want to see in my own mind.
She did post that when you were showing the Thunder art.
Yes,
Oh.
it's about the Thunder cover.
Whoops. I guess timing is, important when you're like putting your comments up, or rather when I finally notice your comment. Sorry, Lisa, but I'm sure that you would say the same thing about Kyle's white cover. I mean, the Beatles had a white album. Kyle has a white cover. Why not? I can see Mike's actually looking at Lisa off camera right now and just grinning. She's probably
Yeah, she
shaking
shook her head at me.
head.
She's like, no, it's not. Bless your heart.
No,
Bless your heart.
no,
Honey, no.
No. Yeah, no, honey, no. But yeah, the cover art for Thunder number 3, I'll just bring it back up again just so we can talk about it here. Boop. There we go. Is done by Mark Marvita and colored by his brother Marvin. The Marvitas are an unstoppable powerhouse of artistic creativity, you guys. I'm constantly blown away by their professional look. It really makes the whole comic look very next level to me. It looks like something that would be published by the big three, and I'm just super happy with that. As an indie comics creator, I'm like, yes, the more legitimate your book looks, the better it is,
Not to say indie comics aren't legitimate, but that is a spectacular cover.
It is. Yeah, and when I say legitimate, what I mean is where people that don't know comics very well could point at it and go, yes, that's a thing I recognize. That's a comic book. As opposed to being like, what is indie? What does that mean? Here we go. So there's a lot coming down the pipe for 2021. It's the same stuff that was going to come down the pipe in 2020, but now is actually pipe worthy here in 2021. So I'm very
hopefully the pipe will lead to you, and you can come see it.
Yes, the direct pipe.
Right now the pipe doesn't go anywhere.
But Twitter, we're ready. We're reading it. We're laying pipe in preparation for the fluid.
The fluid pipe. There we go. Folks, you can follow us at Two Gargoyles Comics on Twitter and
All
Instagram.
Complaints can be made towards at twogargs.com.
Yes, all complaints. Ask for Babs. I just want to immediately plug, I'm going to plug Mike here on camera even. Mike Rieger at Mike Rieger Draws on both Instagram and Twitter, and MikeRieger.ca for his website. And of course, his Patreon is down here somewhere. Patreon. Yeah, there you are. Patreon.com/Hawkstone. And for Kyle Burrows, please check him out at Kyohazard on Instagram and Twitter. Kyohazard.com is his website, and his Patreon is the same, patreon.com/Kyohazard. And that's it for us. So unless you guys have any closing comments, it's a lot of pluggery. I would like to thank each and every one of the 7 people that joined us today for our live stream broadcast. No, it's awesome because that's actually 50% more than we've had in the past. So I just want to thank everybody. Thanks to Lisa and Sherry for commenting and sharing your views with us. It's awesome. And and someone logged off just as I said that. I don't want to be one of the 7. F that. No, I'm not doing it.
I feel seen.
But thanks very much for joining us today, and join us again next time on the Two Gargoyles podcast.